All right, welcome to AAJ on Location. We are here at the AAJ Television Studios in Surrey. Today we have a very special guest who flew all the way from UK to be here with us. She's actually here visiting for a month on her holidays. Please welcome Alysha Badiani.
Thank you.
So welcome. How do you like Vancouver?
I love Vancouver. Vancouver's home for me.
Yeah, I understand you grew up here, right?
Yeah, I was born here, raised here, moved to England 8 years ago
Okay.
for uni, and yes, just home for holidays now.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us a little bit about why you transitioned from Vancouver to the UK.
I moved for university. It was a
Okay.
great program I got into. I went to University of Manchester to pursue accounting and economics.
Okay.
So the system over there is just a bit faster.
Okay.
It's a 3-year degree and a bit more specialized into exactly what I wanted to do.
Excellent.
Didn't really know it was accounting and economics. I just kind of picked something out of the hat and decided that was what I was going to do. But yeah, it took me then 3 years to qualify with that. Yeah.
Excellent. So now you have your degree in accounting?
Yeah, so that was the in uni over there you get a degree and then you get an honors in something. So it was an honors and specialism in accounting and economics.
Okay.
And then from there I got sponsored for my job and became a chartered accountant for another 3-year course that I had to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
6 years of schooling.
Yeah, 6 years. But those last 3 years of sponsorship, it was part working, part schooling.
Okay.
So that was then in London. Moved down to London, and that took me the 6 years. Then yeah, altogether.
So you were doing work in the accounting field.
Yes.
Were you also teaching in the industry?
Not at this time. So I, after I finished with my qualification, I got offered a position to teach for the different qualifications. So you've got CPA here.
Okay.
There you still have chartered accounting, you have certified accounting and management. So I then started teaching for the qualifications. And just like I was sponsored to get my qualification, I started teaching other employees who were sponsored by their companies.
Oh, okay.
And some people were self-funding, so I was essentially teaching them
Beautiful.
how to do it, yeah.
So it looks like they got a really good mentorship program as well.
I hope so, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
How do you like accounting?
I'm very entrepreneurial, so for me, I do like the understanding, and there's a misconception that it's just numbers based, and it's really not about the numbers much at all.
That's what I think.
Yeah, no, that's what everyone I think has got the stigma for it. The numbers is a small part of it, but understanding the picture and how it reflects about a company, and it kind of tells a story about a company. So the finances and etc. whatever not. So I didn't just teach accounting, but I would teach finance modules and tax and a bit of a law module in there and strategic management and all that. So I kind of taught a range of the subjects that kind of fall into it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So I understand accounting is not just your first love. This is basically something that you had to do or you did.
Yeah.
And you landed in your lap.
Yeah. So I've always been really entrepreneurial, and I thought it'd give me a really good foundation and a base to kind of set me up for the future.
Okay.
I've never been, I'm hugely an extrovert, and I love talking to people, and so I never thought I'd be someone to sit behind the camera, behind the desk anyways for 7 hours, and I couldn't type away.
Okay.
I remember once I was at my job towards the end of the 3 years that I was sponsored, and a partner sat me down and she's like, I can do everything I want, I'm a partner, I can go here if I want to go for my kids, etc. And I was like, as much as that's great, the difference between mine and hers is the name and the title.
Yeah.
But both of us are sitting behind a computer for 7 hours, and this wasn't for me.
No.
I'm too creative to do that. But I don't regret it in the slightest, because it's given me a really good base.
That's right.
But yeah, I still knew that wasn't my purpose. It wasn't my calling altogether in life.
Well, let's talk about your calling. I mean, you and I have had a number of conversations.
Yeah.
And it looks like, we see eye to eye a lot of things. One of the things that you believe in is about seva, it's about giving back, it's about motivation, living your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So tell us, some of your hobby, your interests, your take on life.
So at the moment I'm writing the book that I was telling you about, called Beautiful You. I realized just that we spend the rest of our lives with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to spend the rest of our life with ourselves, we want to be happy. I mean, there's not really any other point to life except to enjoy it and to be happy. Mm-hmm. And so that all has to start with yourself. And it's all in a mindset, really. Happiness is just a mindset.
Okay.
I realized that, to be honest, when I finished my last ever exam in accounting.
Okay.
And 3 months leading up to these exams, my worst exam, the hardest one, the final one, And merely, I think about 14 hours after that, I was on a flight to India to shop for my sister's wedding.
Okay.
Complete transition to be studying in book deep compared to now celebrating and shopping.
Right.
And I was stressed about it. I wasn't sure if I would have to retake it. Did I pass it? It was kind of really stressful
It's
situation.
on your mind,
yeah, it's on your
naturally.
mind constantly. You can't just let go so quickly.
Yeah.
And I remember rocking up to the hotel, just really trying to let go of it, saying, okay, I'm going to see my sister now, and feeling a bit stressed, just wanted to give him a big hug. And I saw a family outside the hotel on the side, living on the road. The kids didn't even have shoes. Didn't have any of the basics that we would consider basic essentials. And they were so happy. And they were just jolly and laughing. And I felt really selfish. I was like, what have I got to be upset about or stressed about? Well, my biggest worry is if I passed or wrote the right answer on a piece of paper for
Right.
someone to judge.
Wow.
There-
Powerful insight. Okay.
It really opens your eye, and you just realize that actually there's so much more to life. None of this, I mean, it's good to work hard and to kind of push yourself and do things, but at the end of the day, our happiness is all on our own lap. How you feel about X, Y, and Z situation is all down to you. So it's all a mindset, really. And then even kind of past from this, I feel like everybody in the world is beautiful. There's not one person you could say, and I look at and not say the same thing. And I sit on the tube sometimes, and I love people watching. And I'd sit on the tube and just be like, what's this person's key characteristic? Or what do I think about this? You know, different people have different personalities, and without even knowing or talking to them, things just stand out. And I was like, I never used to do that about myself. I would never look at myself and say that. There was always something to critique, something to fix, something to improve. And I was like, it's not nice to spend time with a friend who constantly critiquing. So in the same way, I don't enjoy kind of that voice in my head that's just constantly saying something. I was like, something needs to change, and it's my happiness. It's down to me. So it's like I hope and I want, and this is my thing then, to give back and hope and help other people, because this is not something that I just struggled with. It's something a lot of people do. It's that body dysmorphia and self-critiquing and always trying to seek improvement. And improvement's great, but also appreciating and loving what you have as it is, having gratitude and appreciating that we have a lot on our plate anyway. So be grateful for what we have, appreciate what we have, and you can still improve and do something different.
You know, some theorists say that, you know, in order to reach self-contentmentship or self-actualization, you know, you need a number of things. You know, you need food, you need shelter, you need security, you know, there are 4 or 5 things like that. You need to belong, you need to love. So often, human beings struggling to do that, to actually get self-actualization.
Yeah.
What is your view? I mean, you're saying that we all should be looking at and appreciating what we have and find ways to be happy.
Yeah.
So how does one start that journey of being happy? Because we all want to be happy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so how do we, some of our viewers are watching out there, if they're looking for that happiness, you know, perhaps they're having more gloomy days, they're not able to feel the pizzazz that perhaps you're feeling. How do we guide them?
I think with anything, it takes time. So even in the beginning, when I realized this, or sometimes I was like, I don't really like the thoughts that I have about myself. And it's not just that I can switch it and look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. And I don't feel like that even, it's not about that anyways. It's observing your thoughts and catching it. And every time you have that thought, it's saying, actually, that wasn't a nice thought. It's not a nice thing to say to myself. I wouldn't say to somebody else. I shouldn't say that to myself.
Yeah,
and so it's being an observer of these thoughts initially and actually catching yourself and making that conscious effort, even if it's consciously a few minutes in the morning or in the evening, or just having that gratitude for your day and realizing that you were enough or you've done something right. Rather than critiquing it, try and flip it to say it in a more positive way to yourself.
Well, it's a very powerful statement that you made. You know, when you talk about thought process, I've heard people say that, you know, we have 17 thoughts a second. So if you have that as a fact, you know, and then you've got people that perhaps have come from a really, perhaps a bad childhood, could be poverty, could be whatever it may be, and that's ingrained in the subconscious, and your thought process is from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
We consciously, so any habit you build, anything we're doing, us talking here, the way you're sitting, the way you're looking, when you walk, all of that comes from our mind, right? Our mind is dictating how we do something.
Right.
So
It's unconscious, most of it.
It's subconscious, yeah. So about 5%, not even 5% of our thoughts are from our conscious mind. Everything else is subconscious.
Okay.
So for it to be subconscious, we need to train our subconscious, because you don't know how to walk until you're taught to do so.
Right.
Until you're consciously taught to do something.
Then
you
it's
don't.
just automatic.
Yeah. Anything you do in life, however you act or whatever you think, it's all because you've trained your conscious to do that way. So a lot of kids are so positive, have so much energy, and then through time and something changes and we become more pessimistic, we're kind of self-critiquing, but it's because at some point we started thinking those thoughts about ourselves, and then we subconsciously started doing it. So to change it to become a natural habit, you need to consciously make that effort to train your subconscious for it to become natural. Any habit is just something consciously done over and over again that you don't therefore any think about it anymore. So I think, and even in this way, I think it's so important for us to not only better ourselves or better our thought process for ourselves, but because we're teaching a younger generation and setting role models for them. It's not just your niece and nephew and your cousin or your daughter or your son, whoever young, but you don't realize how many other youngsters you come across in your life that even if they take one thing from you, try and make it a positive thing.
Well, living here in the Western Hemisphere,
Yeah.
we know a lot of our basic needs are already met.
Yeah.
So our actually, goal should be how to get to self-actualization, to be happy.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you do to get yourself to be happy?
That's really interesting. What do I do?
I mean, you pursue your modeling because it's
Yeah.
something you want to do. That's something you enjoy
Yeah,
doing.
I do. So I just do things that I really enjoy, and for me it's making a new experience and trying something new. So I started doing a bit of modeling, and I quite enjoy it. It's another chance to get dressed up and kind of meet new people anyways and network, and I meet some amazing people through it all. So it's just opening new doors, and I think whatever you do, whether it's just me or somebody else, just try something new, because I didn't know I'd really like it until I tried it.
Okay.
I was scared of heights, and then I just kind of realized it was all in my mind and started doing a bit more activities when I was traveling and backpacking.
Right.
And even some things just weren't for me, and you try something new and you just don't like it, but until you try, you don't know. And a lot of the times you get surprised with the things that you do enjoy compared to the things you don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I do enjoy modeling and being. I'm much more of a creative person. As I said, I
Beautiful.
can't sit behind a desk for that long.
Me too.
So trying to, just.
Okay. Let's talk about your book.
Yes.
First, before we get into the book, when do you hope the book will be finished or published?
I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the summer and kind of published by then. So nearing the end of it now, just trying to finish off the last few chapters of it, I guess.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so can we get a little bit more into the book itself?
Yeah, so the book is called Beautiful You.
Yes.
It's really just realizing that you are enough. It's about doing yourself justice and being the best version of yourself.
Okay.
But just like that and happiness, it's all a mindset.
Yeah.
It's all in your hands, it's all in your power to do whatever you want in life. So it's going to be the best version of yourself if you push yourself and you do essentially what you want. There's no hard and fast rule of what any of us have to do in life. No one has to be, you can be a lawyer, an accountant, and any of these paths that I think there's a lot of criticism on these days because it's very the typical route.
Right.
There's still nothing wrong with them. If that's what you enjoy, go for it.
Okay.
Not everyone has this creative energy to do something, but likewise, if you have a creative energy, pursue it. Do whatever essentially makes you happy.
Well, everybody's an individual themselves,
Yeah.
and you're just saying you don't need to follow the pack. You need to be
Make your own path.
your own self and be beautiful who you are.
Yeah, appreciate and realize that you're beautiful in your own way, and you are enough. You have all the tools you need to do whatever you want, and if you want anybody else to believe in you, you need to believe in yourself more than anybody.
Okay, well, let me be the devil's advocate.
Okay.
You know, living in the society that we are,
Yes.
we know there are a lot of wonderful people.
Yeah.
And there are some not so wonderful people as well. You know, whether you look at the family members, you look at friends, you look at society,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, there are always things or people to knock you down,
Yeah.
especially if you're different.
Yes.
Because your differences is almost fear-based. People take that as a threat. So as someone who's struggling with self-esteem, how do you stand out in this world knowing the odds are against you?
So it's interesting you say this and talk about being different, because I've got a whole chapter on this about being different compared to being normal, what you want to say. We're all different anyways. So if you're going to be different in the way you enjoy it. If you're comfortable in your own skin, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But you're right. There are other people in their surroundings. At the end of the day, we can't control anybody. And whatever you're even to say to me now, I can't control what's coming out of your mouth. What I can control is my reaction or my action that I'm going to take post that. I don't like the word reaction because I feel like it's based on what you said. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can only ever control myself in any situation. So yes, I mean, even if you got a lot of negative people in your life, you're not going to want to hang around them. So you surround yourself with people who are supportive and people who are on the same wavelength as you and have that same mindset as you. It's natural to only
choose
want
the
choose your right
friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we all have some people you can't always eliminate completely. It's the nature of the beast.
Not
but again, well, whoever it may be.
Okay.
The point is, though, is you still need to learn that to deal with that situation and realize that you are still in control of whatever it is you say, whatever you feel, or however you think it. If I were to give you something, let's say I give you a really disgusting vase of flowers that kind of smelled and didn't really sit well in the room, you might take them, say thank you, and then if I left, you might just kind of bin them or kind of put them aside. So when someone says something,
or internalize it, saying, "Oh, she, whatever," right? Okay.
So exactly. So when someone says something to you that you don't quite like, for some reason we take it and we harbor it and we put it in our head and we put it in our room and we just sit there and staring at it and listening to it over and over again. But I can't control that someone said that to me, and I mean, there's one thing if it's criticism in a helpful way, but it's another thing if it's kind of just bashing someone or just being negative or being rude.
Right.
And so don't keep those thoughts. Don't manifest on them. It's not helping anybody. You're kind of just, I feel like our life and time and what you want to do anyways, it's all pure economics. It's basic economics. Whatever time you have in a day and however you want to spend your thoughts, you can either be productive through it for your whole time that you have, or you can start eating away at that productivity, doing things and wasting time on dwelling on what someone said to you or being upset about a situation. A lot of people say they have a bad day or they're having a bad day by the time it's 10 a.m. because maybe they had a bad 5 minutes and then they're letting that sit and dictate the rest of their day. Those are 5 minutes. You've got the rest of the day.
You got it. You got it. And one of the things that, you know, I often try to tell people is that, you know, how important that your own thought process is. You know, people often will take a message they've received from the external world, whether it may be an object, maybe something that somebody said or experience, and they internalize it as though it's factual. You know, just say, for example, you know, if somebody tells you off, you know, say something to you that's hurtful, you know, they don't realize it only could be hurtful if cognitively you perceive it to be that way, and on a conscious level you have the ability to decipher that and accept it as a different meaning that gives you a different body chemistry altogether.
Yes, exactly.
But people for some reason don't get that.
No. And it's not easy sometimes when you're told something and you're kind of faced with something that you didn't obviously expect to be said to, or in some situation, because if you could predict a lot of this stuff, you would have just removed yourself before it happened. And so then people dwell on it and sit there and feel victimized by it. But again, you can't control what the other person's saying or whatever the situation is anyways. So to learn from it, to learn from the situation and say, well, is this something maybe I need to confront them about or talk to them about, or is there some parts of it that I can take? Because even if there was a message said to you which you didn't like, what was the intention compared to the action that was taken? We judge people by their actions a lot of the time rather than what their intention was behind it.
Right.
So even in that situation, if someone close to you felt like they were comfortable enough to say something to you, you might not have liked the message coming out of it. But again, what was their intention? Were they trying to do something good? Which again, learn from the situation, but don't harbor on it. You're right.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's important not to examine what's been said to you.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Are you when it comes to the book? So, are you thinking of launching that internationally?
Yes, it's going to be international. It's going to be available through Amazon.
Okay.
For sure. So across, UK, Canada, US,
okay.
etc. So
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When it comes to your hobbies, modeling, tell us a little bit more. What are you doing for yourself?
I've got a range of hobbies anyways. I love to dance. I play soccer in my spare time. I just mostly like to give back though. And where if I can do any little thing to help. I'm also involved I'm a trustee of, the treasurer of a charity.
Okay.
I love to just give back. I find my happiness and I'm most happy, and I realize happiness is not only doing something for yourself, but when you make someone else happy and do something for someone else, that just makes my day. So spending time with family and people that I'm close to, but just trying to explore and see where things kind of take me, and making sure that I'm making the most of my time. Today is the youngest I'll ever be, so I need to make the most of my day today and try a new experience, getting into modeling more, and trying to essentially give this message and get this message out there.
Beautiful.
That I want other people to realize that they're beautiful in their own way.
Excellent.
Grass if you always feel like there's that saying, grass will be greener on the other side, make your own grass so green.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's all in your own merit. It's up to you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Modeling is such a broad field.
Yeah.
I know people stem into acting and doing various different things. Do you have a vision of
I hope
crossover?
So.
Yeah.
Doors are opening for me where I can't even imagine at the moment, and a lot of meeting amazing people in my life. I mean, we came across and also started talking about a lot of this stuff. So I really hope to see and I'm excited to see where this all takes me. So I would love to. It'd be nice to see where this all goes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming to our studio.
Thank you for
having
having me.
We're going to do a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go, folks. Beautiful Alysha with us. Stay tuned. We will tell you more about her book as well. Thank you so much for plugging in.
And thanks for having me.
On Location. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello dear friends, and welcome to AAJ on Location. Today I am your host Cassius Khan, and we are speaking to a wonderful individual, Dr. Suman Kolipara, who is the co-founder of the non-profit Peace Tree Innovation Society that helps humanity tap into their peak wellness and infinite potential, as well as drive organizations to success through conscious leadership. So we'll talk more with Dr. Suman Kolipara. Welcome to the show, my dear friend. How are you?
Very good, Cassius, very good. Thank you for having me here.
So, we're so excited to have you here today, and you are such a well-known personality as a doctor and as someone who deals with health and wellness. So, why don't you tell us how this journey began for you?
Okay, very good question, but a long story, right?
Sure, we have the time.
We'll try to contain it as much as possible. I'm originally a veterinarian, trained in India, and basically taking care of the animals, right? But in the last 14 years, my journey has shifted to take care of the inner animals of the humans.
Right, that's
right?
fantastic. So tell us about, when you were growing up, like what got you, like how did this epiphany happen for you? Like what was the...
Good. So basically, So I used to live in States.
Yeah.
So I was originally a veterinarian, but then I was deeply fascinated with technology.
Yeah.
So I've done my grad school in computer science,
Yeah.
and then I was working in technology. And then in that journey, so I have felt like I've satisfied my intellectual thirst, right? This thirst for knowledge. And then after a certain time, I was feeling some lacuna within, like this whole artistic and emotional side,
Yes.
right? And then I got very deep into photography, video, filmmaking, acting.
I see.
And I used to live in States. I've acted in some independent films. So I've gone very deeply into that side of the journey, the emotional side. So the right and the left brain. But then even that didn't give me what I was looking for. I knew that I was searching for something, but I haven't found it. So still that lacuna was there. So I was traveling from US to India, and then of course I ended up in Vancouver in that search for something. And I didn't know what that was. And then 14 years, in 2006, 13 years back, I came to Vancouver. And within a couple of weeks, I met this amazing human being. Her name is Sunita Bapuji, as many people know her.
Yes.
And in fact, I think right around that time we met in the TV studio,
right?
right? In the chai time.
Chai
Chai
time,
time, right?
That's right. Yes, yes.
So-
I remember running into her, and she was such a pure soul that radiated.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me at that time, and that was a long time ago. That was like
2006.
2007.
2007 is when you moved from Calgary to
Edmonton to here. Yes,
Edmonton to Vancouver,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So anyway, I met her, and then within like a couple of weeks, I moved to Vancouver. I come to meet her in a concert in a classical music. She was singing Carnatic music, vocal music,
Yes.
and I found her voice to be phenomenal. Like I didn't even see her. I was walking into the auditorium, and I've heard this voice that felt like it was piercing through the walls and into the sky. And it was like divine. There was some kind of energy to it. And I walked in and I'm like, wow, who is this person? And of course, people around there told her that she's Sunita. She teaches music and also meditation and yoga and all of that. So I was like, okay, I know yoga and meditation already. I used to practice yoga.
Yes.
I know meditation. But then somebody said, no, she teaches a form called Sukshma meditation. So I said, okay, it's got to be some form of meditation. So anyway, after a few weeks, I ended up going to her to try one of the sessions. And one session, I was just blown away. I felt like I have arrived. I felt like I have found what I was searching for through my intellectual and emotional journey. I realized that intellectual and emotional